Barnes sur Pure Channel, the band of Montreal. Hi Kevin, it's a pleasure.
Oh, thank you. It's a
I
pleasure.
hope you hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you, yeah.
We have a sound system behind.
Yeah.
First, if you don't mind, I'm going to start with some very good things I'm going to say in French, so
yeah,
people can like, know your band. Je voudrais dire que le groupe Off Montréal est un des groupes les plus productifs de ces 10 ou 15 dernières années. Kevin, qui est assis à côté de moi, est un auteur-compositeur assez incroyable. That's the first time I start with such compliments, but I'm gonna talk with you then. C'est un compositeur incroyable qui allie le glam de David Bowie, de Lou Reed, les énergies de Prince dans la funk et la soul, et puis une voix qui est Lennon et McCartney ensemble. Voilà, et il a des albums fantastiques qui courent ces dernières années. So now I'm gonna translate to you what I said. Yeah, what I said is that your whole piece of work along the years has been like a journey through the songwriting. Is that the way you work and think the music? It's your full life, Kevin.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, every record that I make, I'm so invested emotionally and spiritually and everything, because it's a document of a period of my life, you know. And I think the best music is music that you can relate to, you can connect, you know, with the artist, and it doesn't seem like some put on, you know, like it doesn't seem like a phony thing, like it really feels like it's coming from the heart or whatever. That's kind of like a cliche, but I mean, it's true. You know, the people that I really love, you know, like Ray Davies, for example, or John Lennon, it's like people, Brian Wilson, you know, like they are just bearing their soul on tape, and the records last forever. I mean, like nobody's gonna listen to Pet Sounds and be like, oh, it's just like trivial, you know. It's like it still kicks ass. It's still fucking great, you know.
There's many things, but there is groove moments in your life, because there are groove albums. The last one are quite groovy, Control Sphere and all these ones. What you said, like it feels like sometimes it's you. Sometimes there's all records, concept records on humor. You know, not jokes, but you know, very tight writing and very funny things you could only read without the music, maybe. And sometimes there's a glam character you are behind. Does it depends the moments you're living in your life?
Well, I think that's like when I'm sitting at home, because I record all my records at home, you know, and I engineer them myself, and I mostly play all the instruments myself. So I just piece these records together, one instrument at a time, and I'm not really thinking about how it's going to work live. But then when I do something live, I want it to be a communal experience. I want the audience to feel part of it, and I want to feel connected to the audience. And I want all my friends to be involved, you know. So everybody in the group is like they're like my best friends. My brother's in the band, or my brother's like in the theatrical group. And so it's really just a family, you know, family of artists. And so we just want to make something that fulfills us artistically and emotionally and everything.
There's definitely a cabaret touch in your performance on stage. As you said, there's a whole theater group. Tonight there were catch moments and very psychedelic moments. We're going to talk about it in music, but it looks like you're all family on the road. Is it the difference in between the way you compose alone and then the moments you need to be surrounded to hold on your lyrics and your emotions to the public?
Yeah, well, a lot of the arrangements are kind of complex, so I wouldn't want to do it by myself anyways, because I would have to rely so much on just like a computer, you know, the backing tracks and everything. So I like for it to feel really live and in the moment, and I like for it to have the potential to be a disaster. You know, I like the element of disaster to be sort of looming in the background always, and like the more you do live, the greater potential for disaster, you know, because someone breaks a string, or someone forgets the part, or I forget the part, or I forget the words, or whatever. But that's what makes it alive. That's what makes it exciting. And so yeah, I mean, but getting back to like the whole family thing, I mean, that's really why I do it. I mean, if I was in a group with a bunch of people that played their instruments well, but I had no like connection to them emotionally, then I think I just get depressed after a while, you know? And for us, we're just on this like crazy journey together, and we're just hang out together, and we love each other, and like even when we're off tour, we still hang out together. Yeah, and I think that's the best. I think it's very important. I mean, for any band band members that don't like each other, you know, it's like, well, just quit the band, you know, just move on, do something else. Because it should be a very exceptional, it should be an exceptional thing in your life, because so much of life is boring, you know, and so like when we go on tour, I want it to be exceptional, I want it to be fantastic and like better than normal life.
In every song, there is always surprises in your composition. Do you prefer living in your songs than the actual life?
Well, it's kind of a good combination, because like the artistic side, or you know, the creative side, is when I'm producing the music, and then I can just be completely free and take a lot of chances and just try to make something that's exciting. And then when we do it live, it's already sort of been established. The arrangement's been established, because you know we usually play the songs live pretty close to the arrangement of the records. So we know like, okay, well there's gonna be this background vocal at this moment, and there's gonna be this piano part at this moment. And how are we gonna make it sound like a harpsichord? Well, we gotta get this pedal or whatever, you know, this effects pedal. Or how are we gonna make it sound, you know, like this like crazy orchestra when we only have like 6 or 7 people and nobody knows how to play the instrument that's on the record, you know, so it's just a fun challenge.
Let's have bizarre celebrations. Let's forget who forget, why forget where. We'll have bizarre celebrations. I play the satyr in Cyprus, you the bright being strip bear. Let's pretend we don't exist. Let's pretend we're in Antarctica.
I was wondering, do you record all day long, all night long, or year long? Do you work all the time?
No, but the weird thing is like I have no memory really of doing any of it. It's just like somehow like I'm finished with a new record actually. It's coming to come out next year. And I had to think about like, how did I make this record?
When did I make it?
Yeah, when did I make it? Like, I mean, I have like a vague memory of like being in my studio and working and like going crazy and just, you know, I think that like to make something really emotional and powerful, you really have to almost like sacrifice yourself on the altar of that thing, you know, like it sounds kind of pretentious or whatever, but like you definitely lose something of yourself, or you know, it's kind of, I mean, it's a crazy experience, because it's like sometimes it can be very cathartic and you can feel like you sort of benefited from that, and sometimes it can actually feel like you fucked yourself up, you know, like you went someplace really dark and you don't even know how to get back anymore.
Because you went too far, yeah.
Yeah, you went just so deeply into your, you know, consciousness or, you know, your psyche or whatever, and you're just digging these things up, but, and then a lot of times you think that you've done something really deep, and then you listen to it 3 months later and it just sounds like a joke, yeah. And you're just laughing at it because it's just comedy.
It's so much, yeah. I was wondering, do you think your music is, the link in which in your records is having a psychedelic and also experimental touch every time?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't know about psychedelia because, you know, psychedelia, that kind of seems to imply drug use, like you really are doing it, you know, to enhance a drug experience or whatever. And I do, you know, have drug experiences from time to time, but like I very rarely make music in an attempt to like enhance a drug experience for someone else. You know, most of my music, most of the creative process is very self-centered in a way. Like I'm just trying to create something that fulfills me on some level, but you know, it's very much, you know, just in this little bubble that I'm in. I'm not really thinking about the outside world or like an audience or anything, you know, I'm just like forgetting about the outside world, and I just want to make something that excites me, and then later on, you know, maybe if I'm excited about it and I feel good about it, then I want to, you know, offer it to the world, to whoever likes it, you know.
Well, it has the colors and the surprises and the energy of the psychedelia, good vibe you can have sometimes. Yeah. Also, I was wondering, the next record you just finished, is it as groovy as the last one? Because you have also a very funk and soul thing, you know.
Well, it's definitely groovy, but it's more personal lyrically. It's more confessional, and it's more intimate. You know, like a lot of songs on the False Priest record and Control Sphere, I really like them a lot, but they're not necessarily as confessional or as intimate as the songs on like Hissing Fauna, for example, and to some degree Skeletal Lamping as well. And so I wanted to kind of, I had a lot going on at the time when I was writing those songs and recording those songs, you know, and so I was sort of using the recording and the creative process as therapy, you know, like whenever you're in a fucked up place, you know, and you really need to make something to sort of help elevate your life, you know, out of the garbage of that, you know, out of the filth of it or whatever.
Last question, for the Gay Parade or other records where your songwriting is naked, sometimes it's own produced and very naked, sometimes it's really well produced, you have that balance in the way you produce your song. But I was wondering, do you choose a sound and then start a concept record? Do you choose the sound before, create your sound, and then express yourself? There's a record where you decline Dustin Hoffman's life, isn't it? That's the most funniest one. Dustin Hoffman in his bathroom. Dustin, do you choose the sound and then do the record?
No, normally there's a spirit, and you know, it kind of sounds maybe a bit hippie or whatever, but like I feel like there's an organic spirit, sort of is the embodiment of the record, and I don't know it until I like really immerse myself into the creative process. And when I get like 3 or 4 or 5, 6 songs into it, and then I realize, oh yeah, there is some other like force that's sort of propelling the whole project forward. You know, like the Gay Parade and Coakley Coast, Leaving the Poppies and Petite Tragedy and all these records. I mean, like Petite Tragedy doesn't really sound anything like Atlantic Twins, you know, and it's like somehow I just get on these kicks where like with Petite Tragedy I was really into Edward Gorey and Raoul Dahl and the Gershwin brothers, and then with False Priest I was really into George Clinton, Sly Stone, you know, Stevie Wonder. So it would just,
the keyboard sounds,
it'll just be a different thing for each record, you know, like what I get excited about, and I can't really predict what it's gonna be. You know, sometimes it'll be good for my career, sometimes it'll be bad for my career, you know. It doesn't matter, I don't give a shit, because yeah, it's like I just want to make something that's exciting to me and fulfilling on some level, and you know, and just know that it's genuine, it's authentic, and I don't question it, you know. I just like, all right, this is what it's gonna be, and just like make it happen.
Make it happen. Well, that's an advice. Yeah, you should all go deep into the discography of Kevin and of Montreal band. Go search, buy legally every record, and that's a pure pleasure. Was really happy, Kevin.
Oh, man, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.